$70,000 to $120,000 of negative equity on Hummer EVs.
$90,000 upside down in this BMW.
To get out of all of them, you're about $91,000 in negative equity.
So today we're going to be taking a look at some terrible car depreciation. There seems to be an endless amount of stories online of people getting destroyed by negative equity. So we're going to be taking a look at some of these clips to hopefully persuade you to not make these same mistakes. And we also have some comments from you guys from previous videos. So if you want to be featured on a future video, leave in the comments down below. But we're going to start off with a classic when it comes to depreciation and just throwing your money into a fire.
Here's one of the fastest depreciating cars you can go out and buy today. The Maserati Ghibli. Here's a brand new one for sale right now for $114,000. Here's a one-year-old one with only 250 miles for $63,000. Here's a three-year-old one for only $38,000. Here's a five-year-old one for $27,000. And here's a 2014 for only $17,000. And what's even crazier is this 2014 looks almost identical to the brand new 2024. Unfortunately, Maserati, in my opinion, have just ruined their brand. They've really diluted the brand by overproducing and mass producing really cheap, poorly made cars. And it's unfortunate because when I was a kid, the Maserati name had a lot of respect behind it. Almost as much respect as Ferrari back then.
I don't really know about the same level of Ferrari, but he is a bit older than me. When I think of Maserati now, I think of another Stellantis vehicle, and they really just sell vehicles because of their name. The quality is not there. The depreciation is probably one of the worst, and they barely have innovation. The Ghibli looks the exact same, even though it was 10 years old. They have the same issues with their SUVs as well, and I kind of lump them in with Alfa Romeo as well, even though they are two different car manufacturers. They have very similar problems, and they lose value incredibly quickly.
This is the new winner. Most negative equity I think I've ever seen.
What is it?
Not even sure I can wrap my head around what I'm looking at right here.
Oh no. So he's 56 grand upside down in this one.
$90,000 upside down in this BMW.
Oh, okay. He said he knew he was 80. He knew he was 80 grand upside down.
He's more than that. Look, this guy's bought 40 cars in 4 years. He's no stranger to this.
Yeah, so.
Okay, this car, the miles are just so out of whack. If I search for VX5Ms with over 20,000 miles, there's only 9 in the country. Over 25,000 miles, there's only 4. It would basically be the highest mile car in the country. Monthly depreciation is $1,500 on it, so it's really bad. And market day supply is really high, 112-day market day supply.
Okay, so there's a lot to go over in this clip. I believe they said he was underwater $56,000 for what looked like to be a Raptor or maybe a Raptor R, but then $90,000 on an X5M. I don't know if it was a competition, it probably was, but being almost 6 figures underwater in that vehicle means that they paid wildly over MSRP. And I know this is a different situation than others in this video because their client bought 40 cars in the past 4 years. So they basically just throw money into a fire for fun. But all of the other clips that we've seen with normal everyday people buying a BMW or a Mercedes just to show off, make it look like they have a whole bunch of money. Maybe they were actually making significantly more during COVID. So they wanted to splurge and pay for the new X5M competition. Ooh, nice and fancy. Over MSRP because the demand a few years ago was way higher. And now almost $100,000 is gone like that. I don't know how many miles was on the vehicle. They made it sound like it was the highest mileage in the country, but there was only 4 vehicles that were over 25,000 miles. So it didn't seem like this X5 had like 150,000 miles or something crazy like that. But we could take a look at the comments. Dealerships are always so shocked by negative equity, but they're at the forefront of all bad car deals. Now I want you to save that comment for a little bit later in this video with the same content creator. That's horrifying and so embarrassing. Now it does seem to sound like this person is genuinely wealthy, but I would say a good amount of the cases that we see are stories of others who aren't wealthy, and they get a Maserati or an Alfa Romeo or a BMW, Mercedes-Benz, not knowing the maintenance that goes along with it, of course the very high car payments and insurance adding on top of that, and they try to get out of the vehicle a year or 2 in. You could have catastrophic stories like this. Another comment, the car dealership marked up the prices. Now they make fun of customers for being upside down. Again, keep that in mind for a little bit later in the video, but we have a comment from one of you guys. I bartended for for years and have worked with several hundred people under 25 at that time, mostly women, and have easily talked out 100 of them from buying a new car and helped them find a good used one. All of them thanked me, and most of them have told me it was the best decision they have made. And that's what I hope these videos also do for anybody that watches, because of course I wanted a cool car when I was young. I almost ended up getting a 2010 BMW 550 when I was like 19 or 20 while I was working part-time at a retail shop. Had no business affording it, so I'm very thankful for the bank who denied me that loan, because I could have easily made the exact same mistake that we're watching here. Not nearly as bad as the $90,000 or crazy depreciation, but still a dumb mistake nonetheless. So hopefully that's exactly what these videos are doing for you guys.
What vehicles have experienced the most amount of negative equity? The Grand Wagoneer. These have depreciated so much, and like I said, the average negative equity situation is between $30,000 to $50,000. The Telluride or the Hyundai Palisade, however you say it, those have experienced about $20,000 to $35,000 of negative equity from the deals that I've seen. This is a hefty one. The Hummer EV that want to trade this vehicle in or sell it, on average, they're about $70,000 to $120,000 underneath. $70,000 to $120,000 of negative equity on Hummer EVs. When these came out, these sold for so much over sticker. The SF90, I know people that are $200,000 to $300,000 underneath when they bought this brand new. And no, I didn't stutter. Aston Martin DBX and the DBX 707 are experiencing about $50,000 to $80,000. SL63 AMG, he experienced $98,000 of negative equity in about a year and some change. $98,000. Range Rovers always have a negative equity story behind them. On average, I've been seeing between $20,000 to $50,000. G-Wagon was a hype during COVID, even all the way up into 2023. And some deals that come across my table are experiencing $50,000 to $60,000 in negative equity. We all want new stuff, but buy smart, buy used, don't buy new, and this will save you from having such a huge negative equity situation.
Okay, so first off, keep that negative equity with the G-Wagons in 2025 in mind, but we've seen clips with both the Ferrari SF90. Somebody was around $300,000 in the hole because of it. And then very early into this channel, I remember seeing a Hummer EV that sold for $339,000. Now I think they're sitting at around $80,000 to $100,000 maybe. So he's not pulling this randomly out of the air. We've actually seen instances of this type of hit. It is insane to me. Some of the comments, a Grand Wagoneer without question is one of the most egregious design cars in decades. How did it make it into production? And I've heard so many horror stories. We've seen them as well. They were also marketed as a luxury SUV, so we were seeing $80,000 to $100,000 a pop, and they were shutting down left and right, having to be towed all over the place. Tons of horror stories. When are people going to learn to stop buying these cars brand new? These dealership markups are crazy, and the moment you walk out the door, it's down $10,000. It could be even more depending on the brand.
Somebody financed an EQ?
Yes.
What kind of EQ?
EQS 450 22.
Oh man, how much did he put down on that?
I don't know, but his payout's roughly 60. He just put branded tires on it, all four, last month. That's one plus there. But he's looking to get into a new EQS lease.
So where'd this guy come from?
It's a TikTok lead. I think he's in Oklahoma.
Wow. The value on this is actually scary. Holy cow, this is a lot of car for the money, like a used EQ.
Yeah, it's got pretty decent equipment on it too.
Did he buy it used?
He bought it as a loaner. Is it $36,175?
Yeah.
It's tough.
I mean,
$112,000 car.
he knows, but that's why you don't buy these. You either lease them or you buy them super used, right? There's just not enough data yet for the used EV market.
I feel like people are like scared to buy used EVs.
Yeah, because they're still very new concept.
It could be worse though.
By far, we've seen significantly worse.
So I've been saying this for a while. If you want to buy an EV, especially the luxury ones, Mercedes, BMW, that kind of just got on the train when Tesla started making a lot of money, it's basically a guarantee that you're going to lose a massive amount of money. This guy's down over $60,000 on this EQS and nobody wants them. He wanted to get into another one, a lease deal, which I mean for some vehicles might be the right way to go if you truly want it. I would never ever want to outright buy a Range Rover. If I truly wanted it, I would lease it. A couple years later, give it back because it's virtually guaranteed to start breaking down. Of course, you're going to lose money because you're basically just renting it. But vehicles like the EQS, you're going to lose even more money at the end of the day if you buy it. But one of the things that I thought was interesting is that this creator is a Mercedes-Benz salesman. And now he's saying that nobody should ever buy these. They should only be leases, which I highly doubt that's the sales pitch he was giving to the customers coming in a few years ago when these were brand new and the hot new cool thing. You could be the first one with a Mercedes EV on the block, and just a couple years later, you're underwater $70,000. We have another comment from one of you guys. If you're upside down $68,000, which is actually very close to what the last clip was, your next car isn't a Mercedes, it's a 15-year-old Toyota Corolla. But people don't want to be seen in a Corolla. They want a brand new luxury car, make them look super fancy and wealthy. And if you truly can't afford that vehicle, the exact opposite's going to happen. You're going to just be poor. But here we could take a look at kind of a part 2 from the last clip.
I regret making this video, but trying to reach everybody I know that has ever bought a G-Wagon from us, because we have a very unique scenario where a G63 came in for a client. They had a change of plans. They're no longer taking the vehicle, so it is available. The same rules do still apply. We need a current client of the store that has bought a G-Wagon from us and will be trading that back into us. I'm hoping to reach as big an audience as I possibly can. This is a pretty simple build. Black on black, no fancy interior. It has the 21-inch wheels, and looks like this also has all seasons on it, doesn't it?
It does have all season tires.
Okay, so before we get into the comments and what I have to say about it, this is basically a base model G63, like he said, no fancy interior, nothing crazy, and the only people who are allowed to buy it are past clients who already bought another G-Wagon and will trade it back in for this bare bones one, basically guaranteeing you negative equity from the first one. Dealers have the dumbest rules, just let someone buy the car if they want. That one doesn't even have any options. I guess this dealership is trying to be like Porsche and Ferrari and having to buy cars before just to be able to have the opportunity to purchase the new one. And then again, we could go back to the comment before when these car dealerships are surprised so many people have crazy negative equity when they were the one who sold them the overpriced car in the first place. Now, I'm not putting 100% blame on the dealership. Of course, the people who signed at the dotted line are also to blame, and hopefully you won't make the same mistake watching these horror stories. We have another comment from one of you guys. I'm a high school senior taking financial literacy, and I feel like Zach is also helping me in my future endeavors. I would have loved to watch these kinds of videos when I was 18 years old. Would have definitely put me farther ahead financially, and hopefully these types of TikTok videos bring in a bit of a younger audience, even though I see a good amount of the analytics are around 25 years and older, but still always nice to see comments like that. Now we have one just up on screen real quick, kind of a funny one. Very easy way to depreciate your car to basically worthless is trying to bedazzle the entire thing, which they're doing it themselves. I don't even know how long this would take. Adding on to it, maybe not being legal, I feel like if you flashed a light on this, it would blind someone. So yeah, if you do ever decide to do this to your car, just know that you're not going to be getting any money for it in the future, but I don't think anybody bedazzling their vehicle really cares at the end of the day. Kind of just a funny thing that I saw online I wanted to share with you guys. But we could go over to another $30,000 loss.
I've decided to sell the 63S for $75,000. Took my $31,000 loss on it. It is what it is, man. This thing is so clean though. I think I'm gonna end up regretting it, selling it, but like I'm so tired of spending money on it that I just want something new. But bye-bye.
That kind of mentality at the end is definitely dangerous, because one of the comments under this video, dude got the $10,000 brake bill and was like, nope. Again, the maintenance on these luxury vehicles is nothing to joke about, especially in the modern day with these vehicles. But he was tired paying for this car all the time, so he's just going to get something new. I don't really understand the logic in that one. But we could go over to the next clip with somebody who definitely fell for one of the course sellers, the gurus, during COVID when it exploded in popularity, making money on your phone, sitting at your house, renting stuff out, Airbnbs, all of that.
Hey, so I'm calling about your 9 vehicles that you're trying to get rid of. You have a 2023 Ford Bronco, 2023 Kia Forte, 2023 Kia Soul, 2023 Kia Forte, 2022 Ford Mustang, 2018 Mercedes C300, 2022 Black Honda Accord, 2022 Honda Accord Sport. Woo, that's a lot of cars. So tell me what you got going on.
Yeah, well, I had purchased these cars a year ago, 2023. And I put it on Turo. I'm here in California. After 3 months, I was like, this is not for me. So I shipped my vehicles to some is here in California and some is in Jacksonville.
Say you have about, what, $8,000 a month on all these cars, right? That you spend with insurance and everything?
That is exactly the budget that I set.
Did you make good money when you rented these out or not really?
Honest with you, I broke even enough to pay the car payment, but I'm splitting my commission with the person that's running the business. So
total, with all the vehicles that you have rented out right now, to get out of all of them, you're about $91,000 in negative equity. What do you have comfortably to put down? Do you have any money at all, or?
You mean get rid of all of them at one time?
Yes, ma'am.
I got $20K. If I can get rid of all of them vehicles, $20,000, I'll take a loss.
So definitely being persuaded by somebody that it would be super easy to rent out all of these Turo vehicles. All you got to do is buy all of them and list them up and then print money, I guess. She's now going to lose $70,000 after also adding in another 20. Just absolutely insane to me. We could look at a couple of the comments. I watch these videos to make myself feel better about my financial decisions. Turo renting was so 2021. Exactly what I said before we watched the clip. Do people consult business advisors before starting one? No. Kind of sounds like she was just an angel investor and she got sold a very easy way of printing money for whoever her business partner was, and clearly it didn't work out at the end. Why 9 cars start with 2? Again, just jumping into the deep end. Why wouldn't you start off with 1 or 2 of them? You got 9 different cars and they were Kias and Fords and whatever, and you thought it was really this easy to make that kind of money? I really don't get it. Another comment from one of you guys: a lot of people don't keep in mind that you have to pay insurance, car taxes, etc. It's not just the monthly car payments, people. And adding on top of it, if you do ever want to sell down the road, it could only be a couple years old, but that could still result in tens of thousands of dollars worth of losses.
These are the top 10 fastest depreciating vehicles that you should stay away from. Coming in number 10 is the Audi A7. In the first 5 years, you are going to lose 57% of its value. Number 9, the Jaguar XF, 58% of its value. Number 8 is the Maserati Levante. It has also lost 58% of its value. Number 7, the Affinity QX80, 58% as well. Number 6, the BMW X5, once again, 58% gone here. And number 5, the Cadillac Escalade ESV is 59% of its value is gone. Number 4, the BMW 5 Series Hybrid specifically is 59% of its value. Number 3, the Maserati Ghibli is 61% of its value gone. Number 2, the BMW 7 Series, 62% of its value gone. And number 1 lost 65% of its value in the first 5 years is the Maserati Quattroporte.
Every single one of those vehicles is marketed as a luxury vehicle. And there's even more people in the comment section. No, where's the Jaguar I-Pace, which I believe is their compact SUV? Lesson learned, stay away from Maserati, because they had 3 different vehicles on their top 10 list. The Cadillac Escalade is another huge one we've seen, with the brand new V model, I believe is around $150,000. And we've seen listings of the exact same model that's a year or 2 old with more than a third of its value gone. So after that, people would think, oh, instead of buying any of the luxury stuff, I'm just going to get an economy car, but you still have to be pretty careful with that.
Please stop buying Kias and Hyundais. Stop. This is a 2014 Kia Optima. It's here for multiple problems, different things going on. It's going to be over $3,000 to fix it. It has no AC, some clunking in the front end, something's leaking coolant somewhere, and they want to know what's all going to take to get those things fixed. So here's our 2.4 liter GDI 4-cylinder engine. Pretend you guys just bought this. It looks clean, it looks nice. The dealer worked a deal with you. You got a really good deal on this Kia. Car Wizard doesn't know what he's talking about. This is a great car. Here's the surprise. As the customer has relayed to us, this car is on its 3rd engine in 200,000 miles.
I've heard a lot of people have issues with the Kias and the Hyundais as well. So if you don't know any better, people are listing these up left and right wanting to get rid of them. And you're not going to go buy a Jaguar because you're going to lose a whole ton of money on that. I'm just going to get this really good deal on this Kia. And then an engine blows again and you're out thousands of dollars also. So we'll take the next step in that situation. So you start looking up the more reliable brands, primarily Honda and Toyota. And then you start seeing clips like this.
Toyota's recalling nearly 500,000 Toyota Tundras because of yet another mechanical issue. Earlier this year, Toyota announced that 102,000 Tundra and Lexus LX SUVs from 2022 to 2023 were being recalled because of shrapnel in the engine. Well, now there's another mechanical issue impacting nearly 500,000 Toyota Tundras, including more recently produced ones, and it's actually breaking the reverse lights on the vehicle. This comes at the same exact time that General Motors actually recalled almost 600,000 vehicles that had V8 engines in them because the engine would actually fail. And as you can see here, it's not even close. Ford Motor Company already has 51 recalls in the United States just this year. Like literally, like no one's even close to that. So it makes me wonder a little bit, are we seeing poor quality vehicles being produced in a post-COVID era? And I think unfortunately the short answer is yes.
Of course we're seeing that. I've made full dedicated videos just talking about that. But now one of the more reliable brands, Toyota, is having a whole bunch of issues. I've also seen issues with their Grand Highlanders, the new Tacomas. People are worried about the new 4Runners because it's a brand new engine. They took out the old engine that was very reliable. So you kind of have to be the guinea pig if you want to buy a brand new 4Runner. That's, by the way, still marked up right now. We're seeing listings for $70,000, $72,000 for a Toyota 4Runner. Absolutely insane. Just completely overpriced. But many people will fall into the trap with these modern vehicles because of the interior. We could see a clip up on screen. This is what we call bougie. I get scared to touch anything. And it's just another one of the infotainment screens that look like a ton of iPads glued to the front dash. I don't know about you, I'm starting to get really tired of that look now, let alone the maintenance that goes into that, all the weird bugs, because there are so many more electronics in these vehicles now that will add on to future depreciation because the price to fix those electronics are getting even more expensive. But then we go to the comments and the actual General Motors TikTok account had to comment, "Your mom knows what's up. Yes, dream car." I don't even know which one it was. And then right after that, we'll see clips like this of what the interior is actually like.
Don't get me wrong, I love BMW just as much as any other guy, but this is crazy. This is a brand new $50,000 X3. Why is this moving like that? That's not even the door handle. This is the door handle. Like, the ambient lighting is cool, but like, bro, I'm not paying $50,000 for hard plastic, and this is just the base model. Like, I understand it's the base 30i or whatever, but what, the old X3 had better materials. Am I tripping or?
So that's what you're getting nowadays. A whole bunch of tablet screens as the infotainment, and then everything else is hard plastic. Maybe the upper trim models have a little bit of leather stitching around the plastic, but it's still all over the vehicles. And now you have to pay $50,000 for the base version. The new X3 looks so cheap. $50,000 is a new $30,000. Such cheap plastic and all rattles, tacky feeling. Luxury is gone. But we could take a look at one of the advertisements for these luxury manufacturers and see exactly how they're trying to market.
Your car has a lot to do with your personal style. I'm heading to an event where I'm dressing to impress, and I've partnered with Acura to show how the all-new ADX is the only car you'll ever need to leave a lasting impression wherever you go. My goal today was to have a more clean and sophisticated look. Every time I put on an outfit, I think about how I look once I step out of my car. And the ADX looks absolutely stunning from the outside, but its interior is really what sets it apart. Everything from the 10.2-inch precision cockpit to the premium sound system. This isn't a car that you merely drive, but really feel a part of the road with the turbocharged 1.5-liter VTEC engine. I promise you, this is a car that you have to experience for yourself.
Almost every bad thing that we talk about with marketing was in this clip. You'll make lasting impressions if you get out of this Acura SUV. You'll feel so much better. I mean, trying to market that it has red leather interior, this is not a sports car, this is a compact SUV. And when you start looking at the interior, it's exactly the same thing as what we saw before. Another touchscreen that has all the infotainment, some random leather stitching, and then the rest of it is just hard plastic. Along with trying to call this a VTEC engine, there was a lot of people in the comments making fun of it. Turbo 1.5-liter VTEC engine. Again, trying to show that off when you just put this in an SUV. Honda CR-V with a suit on, 1.5 turbo and all 130 horsepower. Better be $18,000, definitely not. Overpriced Honda HR-V. Commercial about unapologetic materialism. Anyone who needs a car to feel stylish or trendy has a fractured ego. My car is what I could afford and I have no payment. Has nothing to do with my personal style. 1.5 liter was all I needed to hear. Glazing a Honda interior is crazy. There were tons of comments making fun of this. But we could go over to another reason why these cars are depreciating so heavily.
Just want to do a little consumer education. Let's say you buy a 2025 Equinox. Driving down the road, you got a 6-7 year loan on it, making payments, and your headlamp goes out. You think it'd just be a simple bulb fix, right? Chevy Equinox. This is the headlamp assembly. It's sealed. There's no bulbs in it. It's all LED. You got to replace the entire unit. Looking at well over $1,000. So just know this stuff when you're buying new cars. Know what you're getting into. Things on new cars are expensive.
So of course, as we said several times in this video, the maintenance is going to be expensive on both economy and luxury cars, especially if you're buying modern. But what do you think is going to happen in 5, 10, 15 years when you try to sell this vehicle or trade it into the dealership? And everybody that's looking to buy knows that a front light going out cost $1,000 to replace the entire thing. They're basically going to have no value on the secondhand market because the older these cars get, the more problems they'll start to have, and it's so difficult and expensive to repair them. The top comment, 2025 Equinox and the headlamp just went out already. Dang. Old cars were better, cheaper, and easier to work on. More of the story, don't buy a new vehicle. That's why these cars get stolen just for parts. Makes a pretty good point there. And then with all of the problems that we've gone over today, that's why we start seeing videos like this.
Repossessions at the auction is insane. This is wild. This is a 2021 7 Series BMW, right? It's only got 26,000 miles. But look at the bank that repossessed it. American Credit Acceptance. That's like the low of the low 500 credit score. You don't pay nobody, but you make some income bank. You couldn't afford the car. Why'd you buy it? So I just pulled a Carfax. They bought this in February on the 24th day. Bruh, you ain't even had a car 2 months. That means you missed your first payment. Like, that's wild crazy. Stop trying to impress the internet. Nobody gives a what you drive. Buy what you can afford. Make it to work every day. Pick your kids up from soccer practice. But stop trying to flex for the gram. Now you look silly. Everybody's like, where you BMW? Where you BMW? And you know what you saying? Oh man, the bank tried to take advantage of me. You know, they wanted me to pay 24% interest. What you think's gonna happen on your next car?
All of that just to flex for others, and it was a 7 Series, one of the worst depreciating types of vehicles you could buy, and now they are riddled throughout repo lots.
I'm only a dumb, but this is some of the craziest depreciation I've ever seen. This is a brand new top of the line. Well, I guess second to the top of the line because this isn't that 63 SE Performance all-wheel drive. But regardless, it's a GT63 that looks like a race car. Here's the kicker, man. This one right here has a $194,000 MSRP. Now let's come back a tiny bit and look at this right here. This one is 2024, 901 miles, listed for $160,000. There's nothing wrong with it, dude. It's brand new. It has 900 miles. This guy just wanted to own the car prior to the break-in period. So hypothetically, this thing lost $34,000 in value in a year, sitting in a garage, 900 miles, probably sitting at the dealership.
And I mean, hopefully we're starting to see a change in the market right now. Over the past few months, people are getting really tired of the high car payments, being in negative equity, the insurance, everything that goes along with being a car owner. But at the end of the day, some people just want to flex and make it look like they have a whole bunch of money, and in turn they'll end up losing a ton of that money.
2025 is a rough time for a lot of people. One of the big problems is negative equity. Specifically, I'm talking about auto loans. Auto loans are simple interest, meaning after you make your minimum payment for the month, you can call up your lender and say, hey, I want to make a principal only payment. So yes, you're paying extra over your base minimum payment, but that extra that you throw at that principal is going to be at 0% interest, and it'll help you pay off your loan very aggressively. And if your car is falling apart and you just need a way to get out of it, what I'd recommend is a lease, because rolling it into a new loan for 72 months, 60 months, that's a long time, and that's going to start you underwater immediately. A lease is 2 or 3 years, and then you'd be able to be out of it in that 2 or 3 years. Sure, your payment might be higher, but you're going to be free from that negative equity jail that you could just keep repeating itself over and over.
So normally I don't advocate leasing a vehicle because you're just renting it, but from the stories that we're seeing people in $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 in negative equity, your best bet is to probably try to lease a base model Corolla or a Civic, something like that, because those typically hold their value the best and will hopefully get yourself out of being underwater on your vehicle loans. Another one that he said too, of course, you're going to need more money, but calling your bank and putting extra money to the principal balance instead of just paying off the interest will help you a bit more to pay off that car faster. But we're going to end off this video with some advice how to make an old car feel brand new, because some people's issue is that they just want something new at the end of the day. They get bored because they've been driving the same vehicle for 5 or 10 years, and the newest model of the Ram 1500 just came out, I'll buy that. And then they end up losing a whole ton of money.
Hey Seth, how do you make an old car feel brand new?
New tires, suspension, a deep cleaning, and new headlights.
There was some more comments adding on to this. Suspension for sure. Replacing all your suspension bushings go tremendously far. Struts and transmission flush as well. I didn't realize that I've been recording for this long, so we're going to end it here. YouTube thinks you'll like this video popping up on screen right now, but hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like, and I'll talk to you guys later.